everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Tonight I'm going to be making an apple cider chicken with an apple and cranberry chutney. So let me tell you what the ingredients are going to be so we can get to cooking. Alright, I'm going to be starting with some chicken breast tenders. You can use chicken breast or even a whole chicken and roast that in the oven as I'm going to be doing these chicken tenders. I'm going to be needing about half a teaspoon of salt. This is about a quarter teaspoon to half a teaspoon of ginger, depending on your taste. This is the zest of 1 lemon and the juice of 1 lemon. My lemon wasn't very big. This is about the size that I used. Here I've got some fresh thyme, and I just took a sprig like this and removed all the little leaves, which are right in there. And then I also have some dry, this is rosemary, and I just chopped it up a little bit with my knife. Alright, so then over here I've got 1 clove of garlic that I've chopped up, and I also have a clove here so that you can compare the size with my chubby hands. Here I have a honeycrisp apple. You can use a Gala or even a Granny Smith. This is a nice big apple. It doesn't have to be this big. It can be a medium, but it all depends on what you're going to make. I'm going to be cooking for 2 of us, so you might want to double up this recipe or triple it if you're going to make it for more. I need to chop this up. I haven't done it because I don't want it to brown on me. And here I have half of a red onion. This was just a medium-sized red onion, and I've chopped it up. Maybe you don't like that much onion. Maybe you want to use less, or maybe use this if you double up your recipe and you only want to use about half of it. The recipe does call for a whole onion. And here I've got some raisins or some dried cranberries. Now, instead of the dried cranberries, you could just use regular cranberries, or you could use golden raisins. I'm going to be using some fresh ground pepper, and here I've got some apple cider. This is not a vinegar, this is just a 100% juice apple cider. I've got a cup. I might use a little bit more than that. And here I've got some brown sugar. Now, I've got about anywhere from a quarter cup to almost half a cup. My recipe is calling for half a cup, but I just did a little bit less because I didn't want it to be as sweet for our taste, but that's all up to you. Okay, I'm also going to be using some olive oil in my recipe, so I've got some of that ready. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take my chicken out of the packaging and season it with some salt and pepper and get it into my oven safe pan right here. So let's do that. All right, I'm going to season my chicken with some salt. Okay, and then some fresh ground pepper. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same to the other sides of these. Okay, so I'm using chicken tenders only because I'm trying to cut some fat for both my husband and I. I would probably want to make this with a whole chicken, so then you would rub your whole chicken with the salt and the pepper and the lemon zest as well, including some olive oil, and then you would put that in your oven at 400, and you would bake it till it's roasted for about 50 minutes, 45-50 minutes, depending on your, I guess the area that you live in, you know, the elevation and all that. Okay, so now I'm just going to salt the other side. I could have used some chicken breast instead of using this, and I could have used a bone-in and skin-on chicken breast, and that would have also been delicious. Or cut up a chicken and do it in pieces rather than a whole chicken. This is perfect for my husband and I because I'm just making for 2 people. Now, this is probably enough because I am going to put some sides to this. This is probably either enough for 2, well, 3, or maybe even 4 if I give each of us 3 pieces. This is quite a bit of pieces of chicken tender. I'm going to go ahead and put them in my pan. I'm just going to drop them in. And then I'm going to coat them with the olive oil. And then just turn them around in there. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And just drizzle it with your olive oil. I recently bought myself a sprayer. I should have used that. Okay, so I'm just gonna roll it around. Now you're probably thinking, why did I bother putting salt and pepper on both sides when I could have just put it all in here and then just roll it around? Well then, yeah, I could have. Okay, now I'm going to put this lemon zest in there. It's a little moist. Okay, so it's kind of sticking all over the place. Nice lemon oils in there. Okay, so now I just want to make sure that it's on every piece of chicken. Okay, so this is ready to go into my oven. Now, because these are only chicken tenders, I have my oven at 375. And I'm probably going to cook this for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to check it. And then we'll see from there. Okay, so this is going straight into the oven right now. Okay, so now I'm just chopping up my apple before I put it in my saucepan. And I'm going to go ahead and chop up the whole thing because I feel like I'm really going to like this, and I probably going to want a little bit extra on my plate. So I'm just going to chop this whole apple up and stick it into this little saucepan right here. And I shall be back. All right, I've got the chopped up apple in the saucepan, and I'm going to go ahead and add a cup of the apple cider juice. I'm going to add the cranberries and my onions, garlic. I'm using a whole clove here. If you like a lot of garlic, then add a little bit more. This is about a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. I'm going to add my thyme in there as well. Brown sugar. About an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Fresh pepper. As much as you want. And some dry rosemary. You can use fresh rosemary if you want. And I'm just going to sprinkle the little crushed up bits in there because I wanted to release the oil in it, so I crushed it up a bit. Okay, this is all going to go over a medium heat on my stove, and I'm going to be watching it because I want it to thicken up. And that's it. It's going to take about maybe 10 minutes at the most. So I've got my lid also so that I can cover it while it's doing that, and every so often I'll open it up and stir it around. So let's get it on the stove and simmer it up. All right, everyone, so it's been about 4 minutes, and I actually brought this to a boil. I was a little concerned that the 1 cup of apple cider juice was not going to be enough, but the apples are releasing a lot of liquid, so it's doing a great job of making it nice and liquidy so that all of this can boil and cook together. Oops, sorry about the steam. I'm going to go ahead and lower the temperature, like I mentioned before, a low to medium heat. And I'm going to let this simmer for another 6 minutes or so. I just want to make sure that the apples are nice and soft and the craisins have gotten plump and it's gotten a little bit thick in there. All right, everyone, I've taken out the chicken tenders from the oven and they are almost done. It's been about 7 minutes that they've been in there at 375, as I mentioned. So now I'm going to take this lemon juice and pour it over. And I'm just going to stir this around a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the temperature in my oven to 400 and just make sure that they're closest to my broiler. Okay, I'm just turning them around to make sure it gets cooked on both sides. There we go. As you can see, it still needs quite a bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and time it for another 7 minutes, and then we'll look at it again. All right, everyone, here is my chutney, and I pulled it off the stove, and I've given it a taste, and I decided that it needed a little bit more brown sugar, and I think it's because I'm using a whole apple, and the amounts that I'm doing is really just following sort of a recipe. I am changing it around a little bit, as you can probably tell. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stir that in like that, and I'm going to put it back on the stove and cook it a little bit longer. All right, everyone, it's been about another 7 minutes, and this is how my apple chutney is looking. I've been kind of pushing it against the walls here to kind of mush it up. The apples are nice and soft in there. The craisins are nice and plump. I did go ahead and leave it uncovered this time for these last 7 minutes because I wanted, sorry about that steam, I wanted some of that liquid to start evaporating. And as you can see, there's still quite a bit of it in there. So I might leave it another 5 minutes. So altogether, this might take about 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm ready to pull out my chicken out of the oven, and as soon as this is done, I'm gonna pour it right over. All right, everyone, I've taken the chicken tenders out of the oven. Pretty much everything is taking about 20 minutes in combination to cook here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this chutney over my chicken now. That looks so pretty and it looks so good. I can't wait to taste this. My kitchen smells so yummy, and I really think it was that fresh thyme that did it. There's so many flavors in this. There we go. That looks so beautiful. I just want to pour the whole thing in there. Let's go ahead and do that. Look at that. And I'm just going to cover this up for a little bit. Let it rest so that all those flavors can marry into each other. Oops, a little runaway cranberry. There we go. Can't wait to taste this, guys. Look at that. Oh my God, I wish you could smell that. All right, time to serve this up. I'll put a couple of pieces of this chicken on my plate right here. Let's do a third one. Make it look extra pretty. And then some of this apple chutney right over it like that. I feel like I want a lot of that. Look at that. So let's take a taste. I'm gonna get some of that apple and cranberry on my fork as well. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So delicious. Oh my gosh. All right, everyone, this has been my apple cider chicken with an apple and cranberry chutney. It is delicious. I'm gonna give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. It is late and I'm hungry and this smells delicious. My husband is home and I can't wait for him to try this. I've served this up with some green beans and some rice and broccoli with some cheddar on there. So I think this is gonna be a nice meal for us tonight. I hope that you will try it. There's plenty of these type of recipes online. I tried it at Cracker Barrel and that's why I decided to look it up. And I just changed it up a little bit for my needs and to my liking. So anything that you find, I think you'll enjoy it. But if you want to follow my recipe, I'll go ahead and put down in the description box below the measurements and the times that I actually ended up using. All right, that's it. Make sure you leave a nice comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And thank you so very much to everyone who has been subscribing. I really appreciate it. It's just keeping me going. You know, these cold days here in Texas, they're not really cold because it's hot one day and then it suddenly gets cold. It kind of brings you down a little bit. And I can just imagine for those of you who are having lots of cold days. So I hope that you will treat yourself to a homemade meal like this. Keep yourselves warm, keep yourself safe. Make sure you share on your social medias, and as always, enjoy.